This video provides a brief overview of the MHPSS Design Lab approach. In 2023, MHPSS.net collaborated with TPO Nepal to develop and pilot the first design lab for community-based mental health and psychosocial support. This work was supported by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development through GiZ and UNICEF. The MHPSS Design Lab approach was initially piloted with communities in 5 locations in Sri Lanka and 6 locations in Nepal. The results from this process have been used to refine the approach that is described in this video. So, what is the MHPSS Design Lab? The MHPSS Design Lab is a methodology for building the capacity of practitioners and organizations to co-create community-based mental health and psychosocial interventions that are tailored to the specific needs and contexts of affected communities. It engages organizations that are already working in particular community settings through a series of workshops and community engagement activities that are carefully crafted for knowledge gain, skill building, and practical learning. In addition to this experiential learning, the MHPSS Design Lab process also uses mentoring and feedback from peers and experts for what is intended to be a transformative process for those who participate. The Interagency Standing Committee's reference group on MHPSS describes community-based MHPSS as an approach that is based on the understanding that communities can be drivers for their own care and change and should be meaningfully involved in all stages of MHPSS response, where community members are treated as active participants in improving individual and collective well-being rather than as passive recipients of services that are designed for them by others.
In recent years, the term community-led has been adopted by some sectors to underscore the central role of community stakeholders in shaping the design, implementation, and evaluation of such actions. The MHPSS Design Lab uses the language of community-based work to invoke the same meaning. Community-based MHPSS approaches aim to draw on, restore, and strengthen existing resources and capacities that exist within families, other social groups, collective structures, and community systems to provide support and nurture and care for others in ways that encourage recovery and resilience. They often seek to set in motion or harness processes that are ongoing and may be sustained within communities. Activities designed through community-based MHPSS approaches are shaped by community priorities and concerns, and may either stand alone or be integrated with other related community processes or actions. Community-based MHPSS approaches are not incompatible with other types of MHPSS interventions, such as expert-led clinical services, or more top-down non-specialist interventions, but rather will often be complementary to these.
Community-based MHPSS approaches have been recognized as part of humanitarian response since the 1990s. However, over the past 10 to 15 years, there has been a greater emphasis on scalable psychological interventions and other standardized packages of care that may be implemented globally. Since a few years ago, there has been a renewed interest in community-based MHPSS approaches from both implementing agencies and policymakers. This is partly due to a recognition of its congruence with humanitarian principles related to the role of affected populations in shaping the aid response, and also because of growing discourses on the right to stakeholder participation from diverse fields such as disability, climate action, youth engagement, and peace building. In a context of increasing pressures on limited funding, gaps in coverage by formal services, and overwhelming needs, community-based MHPSS also represents an approach that has a greater capacity for sustainability and cost-effectiveness, since it is less dependent on external actors and capacity for implementation.
Why create a design lab for community-based mental health and psychosocial support? First, let's look around the world. There are a lot of people and groups that are really good at using MHPSS community-based methods in their own communities, and they are doing a really great job. However, there is a problem. Not everyone knows how to use those methods or can easily learn about them. And this means that some places don't get the help that they need. Even though big organizations like the UN have given advice and produced guidelines about community-based MHPSS, there aren't many easy ways for people working in the field to learn how to help their own communities with mental health and psychosocial support. We need more practical ways for people to learn those skills. And that's why we made the MHPSS Design Lab. This lab is special because it gives people a way to learn MHPSS that they can change to fit their own community. It's not just one way for everyone. It can be different for different places and different contexts. And the way that we do things in the lab, in the MHPSS lab, it's all about working with communities. Everything we do is made to fit what each community needs and understands. So the MHPSS Design Lab is here to help bring mental health and psychosocial support to people in a way that works best for them and have their own face.
Let's hear from Rebecca Horn, a member of the core team behind the initiative, about the MHPSS Design Lab process.
The process comprises a series of 3 workshops which are interwoven with community-level activities. These are carried out by participating teams which consist of the staff of the implementing organisations and sometimes community members, as well as local MHPSS practitioners who accompany and support these teams. So over a period of 3 to 6 months, the participating teams develop community-based MHPSS interventions which address community needs together with community members. The cycles of community-level activities provide space for community engagement in between the workshops, and as a result, the learning and the practical application of the concepts and the tools related to community-based MHPSS go hand in hand.
The MHPSS Design Lab methodology draws on existing global best practices and materials which were curated by a team of experts with experience across a range of country and crisis contexts. The MHPSS Design Lab methodology seeks to embody the ethos of a community-based approach, placing community insights, priorities, and involvement at the heart of its process. As such, in each context where the MHPSS Design Lab is implemented, local expertise and experience must inform how the core content is adapted and used. Meaningful involvement of local stakeholders in the MHPSS Design Lab process is critical to its success. Local MHPSS experts must be involved in leading the MHPSS Design Lab for relevance, sustainability, and impact. Participating organizations too must have a true stake in the process, with leadership and staff being willing to commit resources and time to explore an approach to working with communities that can involve a significant change from business as usual. Supporting this kind of involvement requires open and ongoing conversations about the MHPSS Design Lab process and its implications for practice. Selecting participants for the MHPSS Design Lab is a crucial initial step. Participating organizations may be selected from an open application and assessment process or by using a more purposive approach where the conveners of the MHPSS Design Lab proactively identify and recruit suitable candidates. There are 2 types of participants to be selected. 1. Participating organizational teams. These are small groups of 4 to 5 individuals representing an organization working at a community level, and this could also include key community members. 2, peer supporters. These are early or mid-career MHPSS practitioners who will accompany and work alongside the organizational teams to provide technical inputs. What is vital is that the participating people and organizations who are recruited should be open to learning and adapting to community-based processes and have the desire and commitment to be inclusive in their work and be currently engaged in community-level activities with a particular community. The first in the series of 3 MHPSS Design Lab workshops focuses on enabling participants to understand how community-based mental health and psychosocial support concepts are relevant to and may be applied in their own contexts. Workshop 1 focuses on providing the necessary skills and knowledge for participants to work with communities after the workshop to identify priority areas for action. Key content covered in this workshop includes the exploration of a multidimensional model of well-being, critical reflection on what is community, applying the principles of community-based approaches, introduction to tools for assessing community needs, practicing data collection, and identification of changes desired by the community. After the workshop, participating organizations use the tools and techniques they have learned to engage the communities they already work in and better understand the community members' own issues, priorities, and resources through a psychosocial lens. Here, a participant from the pilot in Sri Lanka, Nisha, shares feedback after a session during workshop 1.
මොකද අපි සංවිධානයක් වශයෙන් අපි ප්‍රජාවත් එක්ක තමයි නිතරම ගැටෙන්නේ. එතකොට ප්‍රජාවේදී අපි විවිධ අපි ආබාධ ප්‍රජාව ගත්තොත් විවිධ ගැටලු තියෙනවා. ඒත් ඒ ගැටලු වල කොහොමද අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ට සමීප කරන්නේ සමාජයත් එක්ක කොහොමද යාලේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්නේ කියන එක ගැන අද ලොකු අවබෝධයක් ආවා. මොකද අපි ප්‍රශ්න අගනවන තිබ්බට ඒක අපි වැඩසටහන් කරනකොට ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට අපිට සමහර කොටස් මග ඇරෙනවා. ඉතින් අද මුළු ප්‍රජාව කිතුතු කරගෙන කොහොමද ඒ අයගේ ප්‍රශ්න වෙනුවෙන් අපි ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නේ, ඒ ප්‍රශ්න කොහොමද දුරු කරගන්නේ කියන එක ගැන ලොකු අවබෝධයක් අද දවසේ අපිට ලැබුණා. ඉතින් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේ ගත්ත දැනුම ඒ අවබෝධය ඔක්කොම එකතු කරගෙන ඊළඟ වැඩසටහනකදී අපි මීට වැඩිය තවදුරටත් ඉදිරියට ගිහිල්ලා අපේ සංවිධානයේ වශයෙන් උත් අපේ ප්‍රජාවට ප්‍රායෝගිකව සමාජයත් එක්ක අන්තර්කරණයට කටයුතු කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක තවදුරටත් ඉගෙන ගන්න.
The second workshop focuses on building skills to analyze and use the information gathered during community engagement to inform the design of interventions. Workshop 2 aims to help participants gain insight into the root causes and contributing factors for problems at the community level and to identify potential entry points for actions to overcome them. It also involves deeper problem analysis, prioritization of problems, and the identification of desired outcomes, as well as intermediate changes and causal pathways that can lead to these. The workshop gives participants an experiential basis for conducting similar processes within the communities they are engaged with. Following Workshop 2, participating teams return to their respective communities with new skills and tools and apply these together with community members to analyze the identified problems, prioritize community needs, and agree on plans of action. Here, Ramila, a participant from Sri Lanka, shares her experience of engagement following Workshop 2.
என் பேர் ரமிலா. நான் ஒன்னாரில் ஓப்பன் நிறுவனத்தில் கம்யூனிட்டி ஃபெசிலிட்டராக ஒர்க் பண்ணுறேன். இன்றைய நாளுக்குரிய நாம் கற்ற விடயம் என்னென்னா, ஒரு சமூகத்தில் பல்வேறுபட்ட பிரச்சனைகள் காணப்படுது. அந்த பிரச்சனை எவ்வாறு தோற்றம் வருது, அந்த பிரச்சனையால் ஏற்படுற விளைவுகள் என்னென்னு நிறைய காரணங்கள் இருக்குது. ஆனால் நம்ம நம்மளோட பிரச்சனையில் மேலோட்டமாக தான் அதோட விளைவுகளை நாம் அடையாளப்படுத்துகிறோம். அதையும் தாண்டி ஒரு பிரச்சனை எப்படி உருவாகுதுன்னு ஒவ்வொரு காரணத்தையும் ரொம்ப டீப்பாக நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு விஷயமாக தெரிந்து கொண்ட நேரத்தில் அந்த பிரச்சனைக்குரிய சொல்யூஷன் கூட அந்த பிரச்சனை உருவாகக்கூடிய காரணத்தில் வந்து இருக்குது. அந்த விஷயங்களை வந்து நான் இன்றைக்கு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். ஸோ இந்த விஷயத்தை வந்து நான் வந்து எங்களோட கிராமத்தில் கொண்டு போயிட்டு அதை அச்சீவ்மெண்ட் செய்யணுங்கிறது எங்களோட நிறுவனத்தில் இருந்து வந்து என்ற ஒரு ஆசையை நான் கருதுகிறேன்.
Returning for Workshop 3, the participating teams review and incorporate all the insights and outcomes of their prior community engagement to refine activity plans and logic that can feasibly address the needs of the community using a community-based MHPSS approach. There is an emphasis on ensuring the integration of key MHPSS elements within the processes and activities that they have elaborated with their communities. Through multiple rounds of discussion and feedback from peers and facilitators, the groups finalized the activity plans for community implementation. After Workshop 3, participating teams take their work plans forward for implementation within the communities in collaboration with community members. The peer supporters continue to provide technical guidance with the implementation of these activities, and the MHPSS Design Lab facilitators provide backstopping to these MHPSS practitioners. Now Jiten, who is a peer supporter in the Nepal pilot, shares his experiences of engagement after the final workshop.
नमस्ते, म जितेन राई, म टिपिओ नेपालमा एज अ MHPSS प्राक्टिसनरको रूपमा कार्यरत छु। आजको यो कार्यशालाको हामी अन्तिम दिनमा छौँ र आजको खास गरेर चाहिँ हामीले यो MHPSS डिजाइन ल्याबमा चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म गरेको हाम्रो अभ्यासहरू, अहिलेसम्म भएका सिकाइहरूलाई चाहिँ बाट एउटा मुख्य एउटा कुनै क्रियाकलापहरू छानेर जुन चाहिँ हामी अबको यो पछाडि गएर चाहिँ हामी समुदायमा कार्यान्वयन गर्न सक्छौँ त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ हामीले छनौट गर्ने र त्यसको योजनाहरू बनाउने कुराहरू चाहिँ एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण रह्यो र त्यो साँच्चीकै भोलि कार्यान्वयन गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने जस्तो एउटा आत्मविश्वास पनि आएको छ। र अर्को कुरा भनेको चाहिँ हालसम्म हामीले विभिन्न चरणमा गरेको कार्यशालाहरू, त्यस पछाडि समुदायमा गरेका संलग्नताहरूको कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले फर्केर एउटा हेर्ने र त्यहाँ भएका मुख्य सिकाइहरू, चुनौतीहरूको बारेमा पनि अहिले चाहिँ हामीले समूहमा बसेर चाहिँ कार्यहरू गऱ्यौँ। त्योबाट एकदमै राम्रो यो कार्यशालाको बारेमा चाहिँ पुनरावलोकन पनि भएको छ। र अब योभन्दा पछाडि चाहिँ हामी समुदायमा गएर साँच्चीकै समुदायमा आधारित मानसिक स्वास्थ्य तथा मनोसामाजिक सुस्वास्थ्यसँग सम्बन्धित कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ समुदाय स्तरमा गर्न सक्छौँ भन्ने आत्मविश्वासहरू बढेको छ। र आगामी दिनहरूमा पनि थप फलोअप होइन, थप अरू स्किलहरू, थप चाहिँ कोचिङहरू, थप सुपरभिजनहरूको कुराहरू चाहिँ महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ र त्यो आशा छ त्यो कुराहरू चाहिँ हामी प्राप्त गर्न सक्छौँ भन्ने अपेक्षा पनि रहेको छ। थ्याङ्क यू।
Suraj Koirala, a member of the MHPSS Design Lab core team, explains the crucial role played by peer supporters in engaging with communities during the Design Lab process and beyond.
The idea was to incorporate the feedbacks and the perspectives of the community while designing the program and also the action plans. So for that, each of our team members from the different districts, they actually went to the community, worked together with the community people, which is not very easy. It was a big challenge because the people had a lot of expectation when you went there in the community and to talk with them, work with them. So the peer supporters who were assigned by TPO Nepal actually they played a very vital role in terms of the coordinating, also supporting our participants in the community technically, and they were the one actually bridging between participants and the facilitators. Their ideas, their innovative thoughts, and also their the engagement from the beginning of the process was really inspiring. So we felt the method that we applied that really worked very well. Thank you.
Here are two peer supporters describing some of the community programs that are currently being implemented following the MHPSS Design Lab pilots in Nepal and Sri Lanka.
Namaste, my name is Ratnamaya Lama, working at TPO Nepal as MHPSS practitioner since last 10 years. I am here briefly to talk about my experiences and reflections after participating in those workshops. It has changed my thoughts and concepts on how I viewed the community before, the structures, each components and process within the community among its members is biggest strength and beauty. As a learner in this workshop, I have gained insight on how to identify communities' priorities, available resources, possible ways to resolve the issues by community itself in low or no cost implications. Intentionally or unintentionally, there is a tendency to view service providers as superior and have their own assumptions and thoughts while designing the projects to the community. Activities during the workshop have provided guidance to me and my colleagues on how to involve the community while developing projects and activities and let community to decide their priorities and programs. I also had opportunity to be the one of the peer supporter to my team of Karnali province in Western Nepal. Working in a team with the community throughout the process was very inspiring, both professionally and personally. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rehami Maduma and I'm a program officer on the Mental Health and Psychosocial Support Unit at the Asia Foundation Sri Lanka. My role as a facilitator was to work with the W3 group coming from the area of Wanatmulla in Colombo, which is a low-income settlement. The group itself was quite diverse with young members as well as more experienced older team members, and they came with the knowledge of many issues that the community was facing. And I think the most fascinating and the turning point of the process for our team was the problem framing process, where we tried to understand the community and also tried to go to the community and understand the community's priorities, the kind of issues the community was going through. Even though our team members are from the community, they already had their assumptions and the kind of issues that they thought were serious issues rather and needed solving. But when we went to the community and actually spoke to them, the way that they prioritize their needs was slightly different, and that was very interesting to observe. And then we grew with that, and that process really ensured that whatever intervention that we would come to develop and the one that we ended up working on was something that actually the community wanted. So personally for me, that was the turning point of the program, and that whole process allowed myself and also the entire group I work with to understand why a community-based and a community-led approach was so crucial and why it was so important. And that's a learning that I think all of us will take with us going forward.
3 months after the final workshop of the MHPSS Design Lab pilot, an evaluation survey was carried out to assess its impact and gather reflections from the participants and peer supporters. Across the 2 pilot countries, both the organizational participants and MHPSS peer supporters had varying levels of prior experience in working with communities. 90% of the organizational participants found the content and tools shared in the workshops to be useful in working with communities. 85% of participants also appreciated the role of the MHPSS peer supporters within the workshop delivery and the intervening community engagement activities. 90% of the participants found the MHPSS Design Lab process to be applicable to their community settings. After participating in the MHPSS Design Lab, both participants and peer supporters recorded an average of a 30% increase in their level of confidence in using community-based MHPSS processes in their daily work in communities. Among the many concepts and resources identified as useful during the 3 workshops, the multidimensional well-being framework, community engagement tools, problem tree, and criteria for community-led approaches were recognized as the most valuable. In their feedback, many participants and peer supporters reflected on how participation in the MHPSS Design Lab had significantly changed the way that they approach their practice in community settings. At a 3-month follow-up, The majority of community-based processes initiated during the MHPSS Design Lab were still continuing. Even in instances where there were challenges to continue these, most teams remained committed to finding ways to incorporate a community-based MHPSS approach into their future work. Following the pilot process, the MHPSS Design Lab methodology has been documented in the form of several manuals to guide implementation. To learn more about the MHPSS Design Lab approach and follow its development beyond its initial pilot phase, do follow the lab on social media or reach out to MHPSS.net.